2018 Vauxhall Corsa Hatchback Review. The good points of Vauxhall Corsa Hatchback: packed with equipment, more engaging they are driving, sweet 1.0-liter engines, fine VXR performance. The bad points of Vauxhall Corsa Hatchback: heavy facelift of previous Corsa, falling behind the opposition, non-turbo engines weaker, firm sports suspension. One from the best-selling small cars in Britain, the Vauxhall Corsa was thoroughly overhauled following 2014 in order that it's in a very better position to battle the likes with the Ford Fiesta, the Renault Clio as well as the Volkswagen Polo. Yes, you watched that right, that is a significant makeover in the previous Corsa but not an all-new model. It's not only a facelift though, as all body panels barring your roof are new, and although the underpinnings remain using the previous generations, they've been considerably revised. Raft of upgrades. The biggest visual changes because of this generation Corsa are simply at the front. The spot that the nose is longer and much more expressive, with distinctive new headlights along with a lower, wider grille. It's no accident it shares an incredibly close resemblance for the Vauxhall Atom, the Corsa's more fashion-focused sibling. Climb inside. Plus the Atom theme continues, having a much improved dashboard featuring soft-touch plastics for that upper molding. More technology. Just about every version advantages from the IntelliLink multimedia package, but basically the same amount of space as before because the fundamental cabin size is carried over. It's the medial side profile where this and also the previous Corsa iterations look most similar, because windows continue into this generation. The more coupe-like glass outline with the three-door is slightly extended by the glossy applique just behind the rearmost side window. New look with the 5-door Corsa. The 5 doors makeover is a bit more clever, with metalwork that curves upwards for the outside and the rear door to frame the glass differently. Inside it's less convincing with black foil stuck on the glass instead and the interior door panel mirroring the outdoors. At the back, a corner ends of both 3 and 5-door Corsas are brought into line with identical treatment featuring horizontal tail lights and also a large Vauxhall badge that stands proud on the tailgate, doubling being a release handle to the hatch. It drives significantly a lot better than before too, riding more pliantly on comfort suspension models but occasionally with an excessive amount firmness on people with the sports setup. Refreshed petrol engines. Under the reprofiled front in the latest Corsa can be a combination of improved and all-new engines, the main objective being efficiency as opposed to high performance. None in the range completes the 0.62 mph acceleration within just 10 seconds, save for your red and black editions along with the flagship Corsa VXR introduced in spring 2015. VXR aside, the headline-grabbing engine will be the new 3-cylinder 1.0-liter turbocharged petrol, in 90 horsepower and 115 horsepower outputs. We were particularly in awe of its refinement and balance between speed and efficiency. It's also quieter than Ford's similarly sized EcoBoost engine. Depending on wheel size, the lower-powered version with the 2 units boasts claims nearly 65.7 miles per gallon and 100 GkM of CO2. Upgraded diesels and powerful VXR. It's not the most beneficial Corsa though, that honor still belongs on the 1.3-liter KT diesels in 75 horsepower and 95 horsepower forms, where Vauxhall claims up to 88.3 miles per gallon, causing CO2 emissions of 85 GkM. There's a good amount of performance on tap using the Corsa VXR, as a result of its 206 horsepower 1.6-liter turbo engine. Top speed is 143 miles per hour, even though it will scorch from 0.62 miles per hour in 6.5 seconds. Depending on trim, other engines incorporate a 70 horsepower 1.2-liter petrol, that has been dropped in 2016, and 3 versions in the 1.4-liter delivering 75 horsepower, 90 horsepower, 100 horsepower and 150 horsepower. That 90 horsepower version can be available with options of any conventional automatic as well as an improved version on the robotized manual that changes gears automatically, called EasyTronic. All other Corsas have 5 or 6-speed manual gearboxes. Broad range and full of equipment. Vauxhall's experimented with simplify the outgoing Corsa's range, nevertheless it still were left with 11 trim levels with the middle of 2016. All of these are well equipped weight against rivals. An electrically heated windscreen and cruise control are standard on all versions. Every Corsa barring the entry-level Sting and Sting R has LED day running lights, in Vauxhall's signature wing formation. Best of all, model for model it's less pricey than its predecessor. The verdict. It's all too easy to overlook the Vauxhall Corsa, especially compared to using the younger Ford Fiesta, Seat Visa or Volkswagen Polo, however it's still an outstanding choice inside the small hatchback market. It's good to operate a vehicle, finely honed, and it is available inside a wide choice of trims and specs to accommodate most needs. The top-of-the-line VXR model is definitely an acquired taste, and hard to rationally justify. Nevertheless the rest with the range is competent, nevertheless very much worth recommendation. Stick with the little petrol engines, therefore you can't go far wrong. Is this host of well-judged revisions likely to be enough to make it close towards the leaders on the small car pack? Watch full new Vauxhall Corsa review. Smoother of VIN 1.0-liter is really a gem. Non-turbo 1.4 petrols are slow. VXR outaccelerates the Fiesta Street. An overhauled choice of petrol and diesel engines has a fine, new 3-cylinder motor which is headed by the 206 horsepower unit to the VXR, but overall performance within the Vauxhall Corsa lineup comes second to efficiency. Revised petrol range. Unless you cover significantly high mileages, petrol engines tend to match smaller cars much better than diesels, hence why there are many of them from which to choose. Most interesting would be the 3-cylinder, 1.0-liter turbo for sale in 90 horsepower and 115 horsepower forms, both producing 170 Nm from 1,800 revolutions per minute. It's a refined and relatively hushed engine, setting up a far less intrusive engine note than Ford's 1.0-liter EcoBoost does inside Fiesta, but performance is adequate instead of sporty. Opt with the 90 horsepower version and you also will view a top speed of 112 miles per hour, accelerating from 0.62 miles per hour in 11.9 seconds. The 115 horsepower edition generates figures of 121 miles per hour in 10.3 seconds. With standard start-stop function as well as other EcoFlex fuel-saving measures, together having a 6-speed manual gearbox, fuel efficiency is rated between 62.8 miles per gallon and 65.7 miles per gallon for your 90 horsepower version and 56.5 miles per gallon and 57.6 miles per gallon to the 115 horsepower model, based upon wheel size and amount of doors, contributing to CO2 emissions between 100 GkM and 117 GkM. The turbocharged 1.4-liter motor produces 100 horsepower but more torque at 200 Nm from 1,850 revolutions per minute, delivering a 115 miles per hour top speed plus an 11-second time for your 0.62 miles per hour acceleration test. Wheel size and the entire body style impact upon efficiency. Vauxhall claims between 54.3 miles per gallon and 55.4 miles per gallon, with CO2 output including 119 GkM to 123 GkM. A 5-speed manual transmission is standard. Available only using the red and black edition trim is often a 150 horsepower version on the 1.4-liter turbo, delivering a highly regarded speed of 129 miles per hour and completing the 062 miles per hour run in 8.9 seconds. Efficiency is officially rated at between 48.7 miles per gallon and 49.6 miles per gallon, with CO2 emissions quoted at 132 to 133 GkM. Completing the petrol lineup are naturally aspirated 1.4-liter units, with 75 horsepower and 90 horsepower respectively. The lower-powered version replacing the previously available 1.2-liter with 70 horsepower in spring 2016. The 75 horsepower derivative would be the slowest in the Corsas, trundling as much as 101 miles per hour and going for a leisurely 15.5 seconds to accomplish the 062 miles per hour test. With its 5-speed manual gearbox, efficiency is rated between 54.3 miles per gallon and 55.4 miles per gallon, with CO2 emissions of 118 to 120 GkM. There's more variation while using a 1.4-liter though. Its standard 5-speed manual gearbox could be optionally substituted with either a self-shifting robotized Easytronic 5-speed manual, or perhaps a new 6-speed conventional automatic transmission. Top speed to the manual and Easytronic is 109 miles per hour, whilst the automatics is 106 miles per hour. Accelerating from the standstill to 62 miles per hour takes 13.2 seconds within the manual, 13.9 seconds while using other gearboxes. Wheel size and the body style again have an effect on efficiency around the 1.4-liter Corsa. Manual versions post figures of 54.3 miles per gallon to 55.4 miles per gallon and CO2 emissions of 119 GkM to 122 GkM, beaten because of the Easytronic 58. 960.1 miles per gallon, 110-112 GkM but outperforming the automatic model's 47. 147.9 miles per gallon, 139-140 GkM. Duo of diesels. If you cover whatever mileage that will need a diesel, there's two improved versions on the 1.3-liter KT, producing 75 horsepower and 95 horsepower. Both motors are fitted having a 5-speed manual gearbox, EcoFlex braking, energy recovery and start-stop functions. Choose the lower-powered diesel and also your top speed potential is curbed at 102 miles per hour, going from 062 miles per hour inside a pedestrian 14.8 seconds. The 94 bhp engine manages 113 miles per hour and 11.9 seconds. As is usually a theme around the Corsa, wheel size and the entire body style vary the claimed efficiency results. The 75 horsepower posts figures of 74.3 miles per gallon to 76.3 miles per gallon, with CO2 emissions of 99 GkM to 100 GkM. However, these are bested with the 95 horsepower version 83. 188.3 miles per gallon, 85-89 GkM CO2. Rapid Corsa VXR flagship. Despite the performance pack's name, in writing the Vauxhall Corsa VXR's speed would be the same no matter whether you have it fitted. The numbers say it'll cover 062 miles per hour in 6.5 seconds, which can be very quick for the price on the car, and top speed is undoubtedly an impressive 143 miles per hour, but numbers mean little without perspective. and Vauxhall include the first to boast. This car is slightly quicker to accelerate from 0-62 miles per hour than its main rival the Ford Fiesta Street. Even better is the place where great it sounds using its Remus exhaust. The aftermarket specialist firm has generated a system which reduces back pressure for better performance. However, it sounds great too, especially using the performance pack fitted. The turbocharged 1.6-liter is smooth, versatile and refined, though we did find there was to wait longer than the figures suggest to the full 280 Nm of torque. Vauxhall claims it's made available from just 1,900 revolutions per minute, but from the higher gears you'll have to attend until no less than 2,500 revolutions per minute for something to take place. Even then it's only accessible for 5 seconds on overboost. Still, it can feel as though it's got the total 206 horsepower and 245 Nm the firm claims during normal driving. It's a great job too, since there's another aspect to this particular car's performance that feels brilliant: the gear change. A conventional NOF 6-speed manual box, the VXR may be given a heavily revised, short-shifting lever which is definitely an absolute joy to utilize. Much improved driver involvement. More accurate steering through the range. Sportier models feature stiffer suspension. Previous editions of Vauxhall's Corsa haven't been blessed with all the most engaging of driving experiences. In like manner, report positively for the current model's handling traits can be a welcome change. Although this Corsa is using the old car's underpinnings, the suspension may be thoroughly improved. This means it besides rides with greater compliance, particularly models with 16-inch wheels or smaller. Nonetheless, it also feels noticeably more nimble and precise inside the way it changes direction. A center of gravity lowered by 5 mm incorporates a positive effect, specifically in combination while using stiffer underbody and even more accurate electricity steering, tuned specifically to the UK's rougher roads. Sports chassis is stiffer with an increase of direct steering. Corsas riding on 17-inch wheels possess a stiffer suspension arrangement, as well like a retuned, more direct steering setup. Combined while using more powerful 1.0-liter engine, it makes a great attempt at being fun to operate a vehicle, cornering flatly as winding broads are tackled with enthusiasm, yet remaining positively compliant out partying. Where this setup may seem to fall down has ended undulating surfaces at higher speeds, the spot that the Corsa's composure is lost, the entire body control feeling like it's still dealing with all the previous bump while you hit the following one. You can forgive this more if the Corsa is a slightly faster one, but combine the stiffer suspension which has a less powerful engine plus the combination isn't alluring. Under heavier braking over such road surfaces you're conscious that your vehicle has a tendency to skip over the dips within the undulations, making the Corsa feel slightly unstable. Performance Pack transforms Corsa VXR. We couldn't review this aspect in the VXR without first mentioning which it's a sport of two cars, the conventional one and also the optional Performance Pack equipped version. As a normal car without any optional extras, it will be difficult for us to call the Corsa VXR's handling anything aside from above average. Its steering includes a decent off weighting to it, though the lack of the clever front differential means the inner wheel spins up for the exit of corners, and that's regarding it. This VXR also doesn't change direction in as sprightly a fashion because it sits slightly higher with softer settings within the dampers, so there's a modicum more body roll there. Its suspension is really a clever system which Vauxhall claims regulates itself, employing a valve system to instantly adjust the auto's firmness using the road conditions you're driving on. In simple terms, the damper decides how soft or firm the automobile needs to be. It's a process which works virtually, but is better forgotten about really since driver doesn't have a control over it. You'll probably not be able to detect the real difference between the two unless you're testing in the lab environment, but it really's worth noting that on a normal VXR there's a noticeably convenient ride when driving slowly. To really turn it into a rival for that cream with the crop within this class, namely the Ford Fiesta Street along with the Peugeot 208 GTI by Peugeot Sport, you're going to have to install the Performance Pack. Very firm ride with Performance Pack. Available from new only like a factory-fitted extra, the Vauxhall Corsa VXR with Performance Pack is surely an entirely different thing. Forget any semblance of ride comfort, the clever adaptive dampers from specialists Connie make no apologies here. The suspension springs allow the vehicle to sit 10 mm lower versus the previous generation of the car, and also get retuned to get a harder setting which eliminates most body roll. Instead you have a car that changes direction impressively while boasting breathtaking traction thanks to your clever limited slip differential. This latter feature, built by specialists Drexler, is often a huge part with the hot Corsa's appeal. It utterly transforms the handling, offering a degree of driver engagement that few with this sector can rival. Simply get the vehicle turned in and hang up the power down, you'll be astonished in the purchase you're afforded, even on wet and greasy roads. The steering is really a nicely set up system too, feeling direct and accurate but in addition well weighted for enthusiastic driving. Special mention here goes to your steering wheel, that is sculpted to really succeed to keep the driver's hands inside the correct position. Latest dashboard feels good quality. Logical layout with decent switchgear. Plenty of driving position adjustment. While similarities between previous and this also generation of Corsa are obvious and out despite the makeover, the all-new dashboard does much to lift the ambience in the Vauxhall. It's an important quality jump through the harder, unappealing plastics of their predecessor, for this one with numerous glossy black surfaces along with a squidgy soft touch molding with the top from the dashboard. Not only does it feel more premium, it's better built and suppresses noise better too. Some in the switchgear is carried over business Vauxhalls, like the thick, cylindrical steering column wands for wipers and indicators, but there's a nice action to most in the buttons and controls. Particularly an easy task to use will be the 7-inch IntelliLink multimedia color touchscreen, suited to energy models and above. Its clear graphics and responsive interface don't make it hard to use around the move, in addition to providing a USB audio connection and Bluetooth syncing for phone and streaming purposes. But why the screen needs to go black in the event the volume's adjusted is really as distracting because it is baffling. Optimizing your driving comfort can be a doddle, that has a height adjustable driver's seat designed for all courses, much like a leader adjustable for reach and angle and electric door mirrors. Forward visibility is nice, aided with the small triangular windows ahead from the front doors, while rearward vision may be improved with all the optional reversing camera standard on Elite and parking sensors. Standard suspension may be the best setup. Sports suspension lacks compliance at speed. Performance Pack VXR is steel solid. Stick with models riding on 16-inch wheels or smaller, as well as the improvements in Vauxhall Corsa comfort levels are impressive. It remains an incredibly easy car drive and automobile, however with superior bump and rut absorption than before, as well like a lighter, more direct electrical energy steering system, which might be lightened even more to improve urban nimbleness. Overall, it feels a plusher environment to pay time in, with plenty of equipment and higher-grade materials used through the entire cabin, although its dimension is carried over from before. How much room is there within a Vauxhall Corsa? This isn't this type of bad thing, as being the outgoing Corsa would have been a spacious small car, meaning two 6-footers should be capable to relax in reasonable room behind front seat occupants of a similar height. Squeezing a fifth person within the center rear seat is less bearable. Finding a good driving position is not hard. All models possess a height adjustable driver's seat and also a steering column adjustable for both angle and distance. Visibility is nice too, the Corsa's large glass area continuing from before. All models barring the Sting and Sting R have aircon as standard, while climate control is optionally available about the limited edition and above, and standard for the elite. Compromised comfort with bigger wheels. Infotainment is boosted with all the energy models onwards, detailed with Vauxhall's IntelliLink touchscreen. The graphics to understand and responsive. Bluetooth connectivity is effective too, but we didn't like how after you adjust the whole screen goes black save for your white numbers, a little bit distracting as part of your peripheral vision when using the tire controls. Comfort can also be compromised on Elite, Limited Edition, Red and Black Editions and 3VX line models because of their 17-inch alloy wheels plus the sports suspension settings that accompany them. It's noticeably stiffer, yet still compliant, out partying, yet on rougher surfaced roads at higher speeds the firmness could become tiresome. Ride comfort not only a VXR strength. With the VXR it's a lot of game of two halves. If you're following a hot hatch having a more cosseting ride compared to a Ford Fiesta Street or perhaps a Renault Sport Clio 200, this is it. We found it relatively quiet within the cabin along with the engine, while sounding slightly hard-worked in the top with the rev range, never drones on irritatingly. The rear seats are particularly good. It's a strong noted for its motorsport drive seating that ones are certainly supportive or else the last word in soft, sofa-like luxury. However, if you're looking for the hot hatch using a bone-jarring chassis, lots of road noise, a loud exhaust and brilliant handling, this is it too, once you've spec'd the performance pack. The mix of large wheels, sticky high-performance tires and lowered suspension isn't a snug car to use fastest and best handling form. That differential doesn't help here either, because it carries a tendency to tug with the steering wheel when cornering, so it's a continuing battle. Sure, it will help it to deal with well, nevertheless it's not one of the most relaxing experience. 11 trim levels in whole from Sting to VXR. All feature heated windscreens and cruise control. Lots of variation including Luxury Elite from 2016. Despite claiming to own simplified a stove, by summer 2016 the Corsa range had expanded to 11 trim levels: Sting, Sting R, Energy, Limited Edition, Red Black Edition, Design, Say, Elite, 3VX line and VXR. Standard Vauxhall Corsa equipment. Regardless of trim, all Corsas come that has a wealth of standard equipment including an incredibly useful electrically heated windscreen, Bluetooth and ON connectivity, hill start assist, cruise control, and electrically adjustable door mirrors. You go for 6 airbags, audio controls around the steering wheel, which incidentally is adjustable for reach and rake, plus a lighter city mode steering function. Opt for your slightly sporty-looking Sting model and in addition on the above you'll find body-colored door handles, twin white body stripes with matching white door mirror housings and grille bar, 16-inch alloy wheels also in white and black foil for the door pillars. You can build upon this specification with all the 3-door only Sting R. The Sting's white stripes and detailing are finished in black instead. Plus there's a flat-bottomed VX line sports leader, gear knob, and sportier pedals, as well as a chrome effect exhaust and sports suspension. Slightly plainer may be the Energy trim which builds for the standard trim, adding normal 16-inch alloys, LED daytime running lights, aircon, front fog lights, the IntelliLink sound system with DAB radio, and USB experience of iPod control, automatic lights and windscreen wipers, and the entire body color door handles. Helping you will get going inside winter are heated door mirrors, controls and front seats. Slightly confusingly, the limited edition is part in the standard range, and over the typical kit-in edition, it gains 17-inch black alloy wheels, roof, mirror housings and grille bar, complemented which has a body kit, sports suspension, pedals and seats, heated door mirrors, LED day running lights, front fog lamps, aircon, trip computer plus the IntelliLink multimedia system. You also find the OnStar Connected Services package we've covered separately. Building about this are the red and black edition cars that are powered exclusively because of the 150 horsepower 1.4-liter turbo petrol engine and adds 17-inch diamond-cut alloy wheels and the flame red or carbon flash paint job. Targeting fleet buyers specifically could be the role in the design specification. Over the normal spec, it comes using the IntelliLink system, aircon, audio controls for the leather-wrapped tire, front fog lights and 15-inch steel wheels with trims meant to look like alloys. Luxury touches continue to appear while using SE, which builds upon the design standard equipment with the addition of Vauxhall OnStar, 16-inch alloy wheels, a heated steering wheel and front seats, 60 hours 40 minutes split rear seat, trip computer, automatic lights and wipers, front fog lights, chrome exterior trim and parking sensors. Topping the Corsa's more prestigious side is Elite, introduced in spring 2016. It adds 17-inch wheels and sports suspension, climate control, Bixenon headlamps, a reversing camera and rear privacy glass for the SE's kit roster. Aimed at those looking for somewhat more excitement will be the SRE trim, which adds aircon, 16-inch black alloy wheels around the 3-door, silver about the 5 front fog lights, sports front seats and pedals, IntelliLink system, trip computer, heated door mirrors, automatic lights and wipers, LED day running lights and 60 hours 40 minutes split rear seats. Next up within the Corsa's sportier side could be the SRE VX line. It increases the SRE's kit list with 17-inch alloy wheels together with the sports suspension arrangement, a beefier body kit and also a chrome-look exhaust pipe finisher. Flagship regarding cost and performance could be the Corsa VXR. There's its own body kit which carries a totally revised front end with the distinctive scoop below the bonnet. Side skirts result in the profile more inviting, along with a set of 17-inch alloy wheels, and on the rear from the car there's that Remus exhaust system with twin tailpipes flanking a dark, diffuser-style rear bumper. The boot sports a rear spoiler which Vauxhall claims adds meaningful downforce. The VXR also sports Bixenon headlights as standard in addition to LED daytime running lights, while inside there can be a pair of Recaro bucket seats, a 3-spoke leather leader, a unique VXR instrument panel, sports pedals and aircon. Optional Vauxhall Corsa accessories. With countless models plus a wealth of standard equipment anyway, options to personalize the Corsa are limited and largely constrained to components of safety equipment. Depending around the model you may specify aircon or electronic climate control after only greater temperature setting precision. Parking sensors are also offered on many models, as is often a reversing camera and self-parking function. Bixenon headlamps with cornering function could be additionally fitted, with the automatic main beam function sold. Cover many motorway miles and features, for example blind spot monitoring, lane departure warning and traffic sign recognition might become more inviting, while specifying forward collision warning might help reduce your premiums. Most interesting, if you're a cyclist, will be the inbuilt flex-fix rack that slides out from the lower rear bumper, and large enough to securely hold 2 of bikes. What the Corsa doesn't offer would be the degree of customization agreed to customers on the smaller, more fashion-focused Atom. Rated 4 stars by Euro NCAP. Nose design absorbs impacts better. Plenty of safety kit up to speed to help. Vauxhall says the Euro NCAP test might be more rigorous than before, which can be why this Corsa includes a 4-star rating weighed against its predecessor's 5. Its longer nose gives better absorption of energy inside unfortunate event of your frontal accident, while each Corsa is set with 6 airbags to help cushion the blow from the event of the crash. Further health concerns include Bluetooth connectivity for cell phones and LED day-running has lights front to make certain you're seen more readily. Front fog lights are standard on higher spec models too, with Bixenon headlamps featuring on Elite and VXR models. Lots of safety kit inside the options list. While the most recent Corsa is bristling with standard equipment, a great deal of it is about making life far more convenient than being safe to specific. If you desire your small Vauxhall fitted with safety-enhancing headlamps with cornering function, collision avoidance warning, blind spot warning and lane departure notifications, you'll need to take away in the options box. One safety and convenience feature you'll welcome on frosty mornings would be the electrically heated windscreen, installed as standard equipment on all Corsas. It's also worth noting that while using Performance Pack, the VXR is often a lively little thing, especially on greasy roads. The differential tugs in the steering, meaning you need to be around the ball all the time. If this doesn't appear to be much fun, it is likely you want to consider the common car instead. The flip side could be that the Performance Pack includes better brakes and tires, so it'll stop and grip much better than standard cars. Boot space is okay in spite of the Corsa's age. Split rear seats not standard throughout the range. VXR only available like a 3-door. Small cars are never likely to be vast carry-alls competent at carrying home enormous boxes of Scandinavian flat pack, but despite its carry-over cabin space, Vauxhall Corsa practicality remains reasonably good. Yes, it's spacious enough for 4 adults to inhabit the lining relatively comfortably, with storage for just a few odds and ends within the front door bins and in the remodeled dashboard. There are no practicality party tricks such as a flip-forward front passenger seat to permit the Corsa to simply accept longer loads with less effort, assigned in the Flex-Fix rack. This optional device slides out as being a cassette from the back bumper, revealing an inbuilt car-bike rack, detailed with supplementary rear lights for visibility and legality. We were disappointed that only the bigger-priced and Elite models come that has a 60 hours 40-minute split rear seat as standard, compromising the Corsa's flexibility. Boot space itself though is reasonable, at 285 liters together with the seats up and 1050 liters with the trunk once tumbled over. This compares well to your Ford Fiesta 290 liters seats up, 974 liters folded and Volkswagen Polo 280 liters and 952 liters, but is trumped because of the Renault Clio 300 liters and 1146 liters.